Hey, what's happening, everyone? Aaron Jackson here with the Rotation Report. This is not financial advice, and actually, this first bit is a little bit of financial advice. Let me tell you something. Okay, everyone's going to analyze every fucking lie coming out of the mouths of both sides of Iran, Israel, the U.S. Everyone's incentivized to just spread their lies. So we're just going to ignore all that bullshit and focus on what really matters in times like these: price. And we start off with the oil price. Okay, WTI, very interesting. Shouldn't have taken a lunch break before posting this video, but you can see, that big gap up to 120 Sunday night. And then, word got out from in the insider trading class that Trump was going to taco. And boy, there's tacoing. There's all sorts of bullshit. They said the U.S. Navy escorted a ship through the Strait of Hormuz, and then they just covered up that lie immediately. That was wrong. So you can see this 78.80 area, big time dip level in the oil here. So you do wonder if we just saw a floor. That could be the case here. New floor in oil, because honestly, this is going to go on, and who knows? They got drones crashing into this. Are they shutting down the oil infrastructure, the gas infrastructure in the Middle East? I don't know. Nobody knows. We'll be the last people to find out. So we're going to just use this as a reference, as the new floor zone for the moment. You lose that floor zone, you're probably looking back, just retrace that whole rally down to 65. But otherwise, like, we put this target out here in January, like if something were to pop off in oil, that 120, this old 20, was that 2023 high? Look at that 120, something like that. Like, yeah, that's the new top of the range. And really, like, anything beyond that is just like, who the hell knows, right? And another thing that really stood out that we can watch moving forward is this volatility of the volatility index, VVIX. Check this out. Trying to get a read on like all that volatility in the market. And look at that. Right before the little afternoon kind of top, right? Nice little pullback to this 115 zone. But that's a nice little reference area that we're going to use in these volatility indices moving forward in the next few days or whatever. And then there is Bitcoin. So one thing that really stood out last week, sentiment data, the surveys, people were like less bearish. They were like a little bit more bullish in the data. If you just use that data, which was kind of odd, you had the oil ripping, kind of the war popping off. So people are kind of over indexed to bullish. So we're definitely keeping an eye on today's high in Bitcoin, and Solana is kind of the same thing, where you had this resistance from early February. It was sellers. Bang, you get the pop through, but then goes fake breakout. And then, of course, it starts to catch a bid here into the taco. And now we're just right back to the old breakout area. So 50-day moving averages that are sloping lower are catching up as well to the cryptos. So definitely keeping an eye on these areas. There is a non-zero chance that we are, this is topped and it's starting to roll over a little bit. We don't know that. We did get a pretty decent wipeout in some of these risk metrics, but we'll see. So that's just going to be a big clue moving forward, as are the banks. You had a nice little bounce there. Everything gets a bid, right? We've got rising 200-day moving averages everywhere, all across the tape. You get this nice little bid right into this old September fall high area right here, 156. It looks like it backed off a little bit. Is it going to continue lower? I have no idea, but it's going to be a sweet reference. We've seen so many times these rising 200-day moving averages. You get the algo buy, you get the bid, but really the underlying message in the market is like still kind of just every pop is, catching some sellers. But then the real interesting thing is the memory stocks, right? Like, we're looking for, some bearish divergences that would set up some sell-offs into the rising 50-day moving averages. And we got them all across the board. SanDisk, Micron, Seagate hit a key Fibonacci level and bounced. You got all of them. They're all just kind of saying the same thing. And this is a pretty juicy potential consolidation there in the SanDisk, but it all depends on all this news flow and noise and all that bullshit. And, people will be like, oh, well, look at Broadcom. Broadcom's done well post earnings. Yeah, nothing's changed in the Avago Broadcom realm, but definitely, keep an eye on this area. It's 342 now. So it's kind of low of the day, kind of, down 1% since we put this chart in. Yeah, could just be another top. Would not be surprised actually. Could make an interesting case for a short, but then again, it had the 200-day moving average there, and it's just we're just seeing this over and over again. We got so many rising moving averages that you get the algo buys, and that's why the banks and everybody wants to prop everything up right now. It's like, come on, baby. Let's pretend like there's no losses in the banking system, and let's just get these IPOs out. Sam Altman's cool. Everything's good. He's not a creep. There's nothing going on here. Everything's good. It's not. It's not. And then, but we do have something like an Oklo. Some of these names are just so beat to shit. Like, should things resolve positively in the Middle East, like there is a chance this thing could rip. It's not as nice as you'd like to see, but we can't rule something out like a rip to the mid 70s or something like that. So just definitely want to keep your wits about you, not get too bullish, too bearish, because like you said, like these people will do anything. They will do anything to get these IPOs out, to rip the market, whatever. And then there's software versus semis, really interesting day. Semis killing it. Software selling off a little bit. I think part of that is software's had a nice rally, and you've seen some of these software stocks get to the point where it's like, okay, you're bloated, you're expensive, the valuation makes no sense, you've rallied, you get a little taco, and now people are like, all right, well, I'll do some selling there. So I tried doing some selling there myself. We'll see how it goes. Just a couple feeler positions, because IGV, I think it's like 86, 87, and there's a real chance like you get another push up to at least 90 in the next 2 days. Maybe this is just a shakeout day, and then bang, you're fucking rip it to new highs, get to the 90-ish zone, and then you trap everyone who's a little greedy, shorting. But overall, I think for now, we still like software over semis, although like it might not be the best environment for software either. It could just be more of this semi-trade unwinding, something happening with the energy trade in Asia and yada, yada, yada. Who knows? But then the way interesting chart of the day here is China Tech CQQQ. Is that a bottom here? Is that what it is? A little panic on the Strait of Hormuz and all that bullshit. Even though they're still getting their oil, they're teamed up with Iran. Shit, they send them the drones. So very interesting. Like, what if we get the Trump taco, and then he does the big deal in China? This could be the sweet entry area. It really could. We don't know that. But there is a world where this is just a bottom, and then this thing goes up to 75, 85, something like that. Definitely worth keeping an eye on. And then, a lot of commodities with potential here, whether, geopolitical noise or not. And I'm looking at nat gas because look, they're pumping it, they're plugging it into the AI, right? No matter what. And if it's, and say there's gas disruptions in the Middle East, cool. That makes it better, just a more relatively attractive, proposition in the US and the Americas, right? So you'd get more industrialization, more, fertilizers, I don't know, various stuff like that, chemicals. It would really incentivize more production here. So that would just be another tailwind. And I don't know, just testing the 8-day moving average today. It's not on the chart, but I think it's going to catch a bid here right around this 8-day moving average. And you can see positive MACD kind of, it's just an interesting one for a lot of different reasons here, as everyone's focused on oil. And then there's wheat. So, I don't know. Do they start attacking, civilian crops or whatever in the Middle East? Don't know about that. Guessing that might have been some of this bid, but a big sharp reversal here at the 200 week. But the underlying coil here is still pretty nice. And you get it around here, and it's like, damn, do we start nibbling on this pullback a little bit? It's a good question. That'll do it for me today. And I just wanted to say thanks everyone for tuning in. And if you like the video, do me a favor and like the video. And until next time, friends, y'all have a great day.